surge while people were stuck at home. And relatively new companies like Apple, Google, and Uber, big picture, have been upending industries that will really never be the same. And yet I want you to think about this. Some old systems remain resilient with consequences for workers and consumers. Take music technology. It's gone from vinyl records to tapes to CDs to now streaming, but the exact same old business structure still favors corporations over people, artists and the fans. Now, across genres, just about every artist says this continues and it's unfair.
If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship. Ultimately, it keeps us apart, and it keeps the people in power in charge of us.
We need to have contracts that make sense.
I haven't made anything off of samples.
Do you ever get a dime of that?
For the most part, myself, no. Lots of people do. But you have to figure a way, because you don't have enough money to fight the big companies.
Right. What do you really need record companies for? I mean, really?
This is about power and law and culture and systems that marginalize creative people who contribute so much. We showed Prince there. He spent his life fighting that system. Lately, artists like Taylor Swift and Jay-Z are trying to change from inside, while other younger artists are breaking the mold entirely, which is still hard to do. Take 28-year-old Russ, a singer and rapper who made his first hits without trading in his intellectual property over to a record label, and without using any professional producers, engineers, or other connections on his way to self-made success. The New Jersey-born artist is a real maverick in the industry, and we just sat down in his current home of Atlanta, where I asked about the many years that he spent basically making and posting homemade songs online, struggling to find at first more than a few listeners or a few $100. In fact, we have Russ's exact earnings from that period because in another unusual move, he released the numbers to the public. You got a long runway where you're putting out this music all by yourself,
And that is not working.
and you're getting a couple $100, which is fine, and keep making your art, but it's not as if it blows up. So tell us what we're looking at here. What are we looking at? Because you released these numbers. What do they mean? And B, please tell us what jumps out to you.
Persistence. That's what this is. Because if I stop, oh, I see how this chart is going now. It's going this way. If I stop in 2015, midway through 2015, in June 2015 at $600, I put out 11 mixtapes at that point and a bunch of songs. So if I would have stopped at June 2015, having only made $600 that month, right? But with the amount of output I did, no one would have been like, you didn't give it your all. They'd be like, you did a lot. Put out 11.
You put out more than most people.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't have been able to say I didn't work hard and I didn't try. So all that tells me is that you just have to keep going. That's it. I could have stopped in June 2015 and that would have been that. And I would have looked back and been like, I did try. I put out 11 mixtapes. I shot so many videos. I did it. But it's like, yeah, but you didn't try long enough. Well, I thought everyone else was stupid. Seriously. I was like, I had such delusional confidence. I was like, this is going to work. Y'all are going to wake up. Just watch. There was not a doubt, not even a sliver of doubt in my mind that it was going to work.
So you say delusion.
Yeah.
We talked about your roles, including author.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in your head. In some ways, reads like other inspirational books. Let's explain that, exactly what you mean by be delusional.
Yeah. You just have to be the first person to think you're about to do what you're going to do. So that's delusional. It was delusional for me. The first day when I was like, all right, I'm about to rap. I'm about to make beats. You're delusional. Because there's no evidence in real life for you that that's going to work. You're starting from zero. That's the reality. Now, the other part that makes it delusional is that it's not a guaranteed path. You can go to college and if you graduate, you'll guaranteed get a piece of paper, a diploma, all these things. You could do rap for 10 years and get nothing. So that's also what makes it delusional.
So can we get into the paradox?
Sure.
If you are self-aware that this plan is delusional,
Yeah.
do you cease to be delusional about it?
Yeah. Because you know what you realize? You realize that, you know what? It's just, I can do it. It's just confidence. It's just literally like, I know this sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound that crazy to me. And that's all it is.
So that's almost a transference where you start out saying, be delusional.
You don't realize it's delusional till you look back and was like, that was fucking delusional. Because that's the thing. It's like when I was doing it, I was like, of course I can do this. It wasn't like I'm crazy. It was, of course I can do this.
And he did do it. Russ has scored 3 top 10 hit albums on the Billboard charts. He's sold out shows for 20,000 people headlining the Staples Center, a place that any music fan will tell you most music acts never fill. He also works as an entrepreneur, launching a marijuana company, partnering with a nonprofit, Weldon, on issues we've covered a lot around here. They work to help and to release drug offenders still behind bars, because the U.S. has a patchwork war on drugs that means while some people now use and profit off marijuana legally, thousands of others, often overwhelmingly poor and black and brown people, are still serving time for marijuana activity. In this new interview, we spoke about that. Russ brought up his own identity as a white Italian-American artist in hip-hop, something he also addresses within his music. So what are you doing to change that while you also have a business here?
Well, that's why linking up with Weldon was important for me, just because I'm in the cannabis space as a white person. Mm-hmm. I'm selling weed as a white guy legally, while there's so many black and brown people incarcerated for weed. So I can't just like, oh well, that sucks, buy my weed. I gotta try to do my part, because otherwise, to me, that's very vulture. Very vulture mentality. It's like, yeah, it sucks for y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna get some money out of this. It's like, I've always been very conscious of the space that I'm in. It's a black space. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I'm white in a black space, and I can't just take. Give me the money, give me the fans, and I'm gonna use the